Here it is, the finals, patch 5.7. The game has been under hellfire for the last few weeks, and finally, I'm sure, this is the patch that...
You get nothing! You lose!
Aside from the jokes, the finals has admittedly gotten off to a little bit of a rocky start this year. And the weird thing is that I didn't make a video on it because it's not really even been affecting me that much. I do live streams on Twitch every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and as you guys can watch back on the VODs, I haven't really been having that many problems. I know a huge problem that a lot of people have been saying is that they are having some connection issues with the servers, or the servers have been lagging, as you all obviously know. And don't worry, I'm not going to make a video with like a huge red downwards arrow, you know, stating the obvious points for those YouTubers that just go to Reddit to look at the most popular points so they get free views. We're in that cycle again, right? If you've been here for a long time, we're at that point where everyone's like, oh, the game is dying again, right? It's the same thing. They've been saying it since season 1, so it is what it is. But yeah, essentially, if you're new here or you're kind of like wondering what's happening in the finals right now, we got some really exciting stuff coming up. So if this is your first season, essentially next week on February 5th, 2025, if you're watching this for some reason in the future. So on that date, we're essentially going to be getting what they like to call a mid-season patch, which essentially is a large chunk of an update that the developers have kind of been cooking up for a little bit of time and kind of pushing out all at once, which mainly focuses on balance. And recently in towards season 5, the developers have kind of said, you know, hey, we don't really want to balance each week. We kind of want to have a balance at the start of the season, do a mid-update, and then again have the balance at the end / start of the next season as well. But another reason you should be excited about the mid-season patch for the finals is actually the changes that can happen to the game as well. The last most notable big season patch that we had from the mid-season was back in season 2, which introduced terminal attack, which, hey, it's not everyone's cup of tea. So obviously Embark have now been returning, of course, from their well-deserved Christmas break, and maybe have some potential surprises coming, which sets Wednesday up as a very important day. All I hope for, like, worst case scenario is that we do get some changes and fixes towards what people have been mainly complaining about, but I think this is a good video to kind of make to say what can we maybe expect in the mid-season update. So starting off with the bugs, originally I thought that quick cache timer, you know, the one where it's like minus 800 seconds, I thought that was just like a visual kind of respawn thing. You're still spawning at the normal times, but apparently, I even asked my Discord, you have to actually wait that long. I don't know why it's still in the game now. Maybe it's something that's pretty difficult to replicate or, you know, to fix, which is fine, but damn, that kind of sucks. But to be fair, aside from like 2 major points and the goddamn main menu freezing screen that's driving me crazy, by the way, Embark, please fix that. If you're using weapon inspect animations other than the default when you respawn, you get bugged. Like, again, like, oh no. Weapon inspect animations. Like, again, like, these are fine. These are fine to, like, report the bugs, but, like, why are all these YouTubers having these big red arrows and doing like 20-minute videos when, like, I look at the bugs here and like this is an opportunity for people to actually like say what major bugs are in the game, and it's like, what's bad? Like, it's not bad. Like, I had an issue on rank where I couldn't see my team's loadouts during the loadout screen. Oh no. Again, it's not great, but it's not like end of the world. Okay, please let them see the thermal sight bug. Okay, this one is actually true. The thermal sight bugs. Wait, thermal sight bugs? There is thermal bugs in the game. Embark, please fix the thermals, please. Okay, this has been in the game for a long time. This should actually have been fixed by now. Okay, one pretty you know, valid point. Jump pad not working when you place it in front of your feet. Not necessarily a bug, just again, design of the game. They could obviously make it so that the jump pad actually activates quicker. You know what the worst bug is this season? This is actually making me consider like actually quitting. Is that we're getting people spawning with big ass charms. Okay, but for the mid-season update then, what are we looking at right now? Well, I'm looking towards the current questions in the air right now surrounding the balance and gameplay of the finals. So the first point is ranked, and I think that it's pretty clear that even though at the time, all the way back in Season 3 World Tour, when they actually introduced changes to the plugs, which, if you don't know, we use the word or term plugs here, and plugs is essentially taking the vault and depositing it into a cash-out station. You get a percentage of that vault's value, and then obviously you have to defend the cash out station to earn the rest of the money. Well, essentially, if you didn't know, they actually changed this back in towards Season 3. Whilst they had Terminal Attack running in the background, they were using World Tour as more of like that experimental playtesting grounds. And they changed the meta for the Season 4 release by essentially making team wipes less punishing and plugs more rewarding, so people actually focused more on the objective of actually playing the finals itself. Once people learned the mathematics behind the plugging over time, they realized that certain strategies with that plug meta essentially guaranteed teams to win, such as one of the examples is double plugging the last cash out. So again, if you're already in first place and you have a team in second place who are just below you, of course the money that you get from plugging into the cash out can obviously give you more money towards your team. However, if you are going to be in second or even first at the moment and you double plug, which is essentially you or another team starts the first cash out on the very last phase of the game, you take that vault and you head towards the same cash out station and plug it in there, while you get the money, which essentially puts you in first. And then what happens? Well, there's only one cash out left of the match, and whoever takes that gets first place probably, but you're always going to qualify. You're always going to be in the top 2, right? So that's one of the most frustrating strategies in the game right now that is happening for a lot of teams. The other one is, of course, just having Lights now actually managing to be able to rush around and play the objectives and focus with the plugs, so it essentially becomes a light race. And initially, if I'm completely honest, I actually enjoyed that. For a short period of time when this new meta happened, I actually then saw a shift, and I saw Light as being the runner class. And I would actually have, if I was making a strategy back then, Light having the most movement utility that they could have as possible. For example, the grapple, maybe a vanishing in there, and obviously the gateway as well. And then that Light would be able to traverse around the map as fast as possible and only focus on the plugs, while yourself as, let's say, a medium and a heavy on the same team would be able to focus on defending the cash outs if needed, or support the Light to be able to do the Light's job. And actually, I thought that philosophy of the finals was really good and actually kind of interesting, but it seems as if like the overall player base and the comp side of things, maybe not more on the casual side of things, but on the comp side, the top end of the finals, they don't really like that anymore, which again is a bit of a shame. Maybe they don't see it in the way I see it, and again, I don't play at that top level, so you know, it is what it is. But still, people want some changes towards that, and I think that, you know, that's obviously very valid. Okay, so for the weapons, I know that a lot of people, even in, you know, my chat on my Discord, have been, you know, obviously mentioning and talking about the goddamn LH1 in situations like Power Shift, where Lights can kind of play on their own. God damn, they're very, very strong. But then when you go up towards the cash out side of things and you go towards more of the competitive side of the game, well, Lights actually do start to now feel a part of the team. But previously, before, Lights were very taken out of the game because, again, just of how the overall balance was on the finals for the top end here I'm talking about, okay? We're talking about the top 500 plus. And it was very hard to kind of break your way out into being a Light into the game. But recently, it started to kind of feel a part of the team again. And again, that was actually due to the cash out plug meta happening, where Lights actually felt like they had a bit more of a role in the game. I think the AK, for example, just kind of feels a little bit underpowered. I'm not calling necessarily for a damage buff here. The range effectiveness of rifles are just not, they don't really make sense. Like, for example, why is the FAMAS strong right now? Well, again, the FAMAS does deal, obviously, a lot of DPS, but the FAMAS actually deals more damage at range compared to the weapons. I think the FAMAS drop-off range, is, if I'm not mistaken, is about meters, whereas the AK and the FGAR are all the way back down to meters. And it's not that much of a difference, right? But you do feel it, especially because for some reason I keep leaving people down to 1 HP, especially with the AK. Maybe they've already tested it, and of course, and I might just be delusional, and you guys could probably just write in the comment section about how I don't know anything about the game, which is fine. But, you know, I just feel like it doesn't... Having a short range for an AR and it not dealing damage at range makes the philosophy of an AR just weird, right? I feel like ARs are very effective at range, and they should be. I do think, personally, the biggest quality of life change would obviously be sort of adding in some sort of indicator for grenades. And you could obviously stop me here and say, no, it's a skill issue, Thix. You need to obviously use your eyes and see where it's coming from. I get it, okay. It's not the end of the world for me if it's not added into the game, but I'll give you my reasons why I feel like it would be helpful, especially towards the newer player as well. In the finals, there's a lot going on, right? You don't need a grenade indicator in games, for example, such as like Counter-Strike, okay, because it's very, you know, stable, it's very solid, it's very structural, more like chess. Well, the finals, there's a lot happening, there's explosions happening, there's buildings falling down, there's smoke, there's barrels everywhere, there's explosions, there's a heavy charge and slamming me, please nerf charge and slam Embark. Having all that happening at the same time we would need at least some sort of indicator, I personally feel like, that actually would just kind of help out, kind of preface this, because again, frag grenades this season have been very, very strong. And again, you could also say maybe something, a nod towards frag grenades being a bit too strong in this game right now. But those are just a couple of the changes that I feel like would put the finals there. If I'm completely honest, you guys, the finals is actually in a pretty damn good spot balance-wise, personally, from what I've been saying. Okay, so now that we've covered all this, I feel like it's a nice kind of like a decent segue to kind of relax a little bit here and kind of talk a little bit about some more cool stuff coming up, some interesting aspects up and coming for the finals. So obviously there's rumors going around right now, if you don't know, about the potential return of CNS back into the finals. Now, CNS, they shook up the game quite a bit. It was a little bit too early, in my opinion. They did it, but it was super fun, and the music that came from Season 2 was absolutely amazing. So if you don't know, a quick journey back in time. CNS is essentially, to summarize, a hacking group. They made disruptive changes all the way back in Season 2 of the finals, obviously introducing the maps such as Cis Horizon, having that kind of retro 80s kind of synthwave theme as well. It was absolutely beautiful. But, you know, they would leave cryptic messages around the arena, like they'll be like, you know, taking back what's ours, and like, you know, S lies and things like that. There was cryptic messages that people found, the Easter egg hunters found throughout the arena, and it was kind of setting up, you know, through the game's social content, so like the promotions and stuff like that, signaling that CNS have a bigger picture of goals that they want to do in the finals of the lore, and they want to, you know, change things or disrupt things of what's happening right now as the norm. I think that Embark wanted to make really clear that CNS was not considered evil, not really considered necessarily the bad guys. They're kind of more of a group trying to break the norm, kind of set out and make changes from within the finals. And, you know, this is proven by statements. You know, one of the common things is with love from CNS. There seems to be a lot of love coming from CNS that Embark are putting towards the lore of the finals. And here's the thing. I know a lot of you guys love CNS, okay? But I'm gonna give a take right now, okay? I'm gonna give a take. I'll just remind you that they actually brought back in Terminal Attack. So me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of CNS. I actually did like Terminal Attack, by the way, but it was a little bit early on. I feel like they should have added a bit more oomph to Terminal Attack, but technically, I'm against CNS, okay? In terms of the lore, I ain't on CNS's side. However, in Spear's video, where he was essentially covering in a lot more detail than I am who CNS are, he raises some great questions on the future or lore direction of the game. One of them, for example, is who really controls the finals right now? You know, is it the Multico, the big corporations, or has CNS come back as potentially the original creators to kind of reclaim, you know, their legacy to get back in towards the finals, take control back of theirs and kind of change the direction of the game? So, you know, with rumors swirling around that CNS might actually be making a comeback in this, even as soon as the mid-season update, potentially, you know, their return could potentially introduce a lot more twists to the story that we kind of have right now, potentially unveiling new secrets, you know, about the finals origins, about why we're here, why are these sponsors in the game right now, what's their objectives, what's the objectives of the finals, you know, what's going on in the lore. You know, it kind of challenges, they want to challenge those established corporative narratives that have once again been, you know, present in the finals as well. So it's super cool to kind of understand. Okay, so if there's anything that you think needs changing, then leave your comments down below, and I'll actually pick 5 random comments and make those changes affect the games and push it before the mid-season update. That's right, Embark are actually allowing me to put... No, I'm just kidding. That would be really bad. No, that's a joke. It's a joke. But anyway, yeah. But in all seriousness, I would like to hear what you guys' thoughts are, obviously, on what your own perspective is about the finals. I think it's really cool having those discussions with you guys. But until then, hang in there, okay? Amazing stuff is coming. I know that for some reason you have these people that are trying to put a bad narrative on the finals. I mean, honestly, it's just disrespectful to them because they'll never acknowledge when Embark do good things. You'll notice that these YouTubers don't actually, you know, say, oh, you know, the finals is good now. Thank you, Embark, for this. They don't care. They just keep doing negative stuff because they know it gets views. Hang in there, okay? Okay. Wednesday, big day. Hopefully we may be saved. I don't know, or maybe this is going to be like one of those like this aged well videos. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. As always, my name is Stix, and I'll see you on the podium.